சிட்டி யூனியன் பேங்க் ஆல் இன் ஒன் ஆப்ல இருந்து வீடியோ KYC மூலமா வீட்ல இருந்தே பேங்க் அக்கவுண்ட் ஓபன் பண்ணலாம். வீடியோ கால்லயே வெரிஃபிகேஷன் முடிஞ்சிரும்.
City Union Bank.
We know that state of Telangana was created 11 years back, and it was created for better governance of certain regions of erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. The state is doing well. The state has a history. The people of the state are industrious, enterprising. Friends, we know that the theme of this such a statehood celebration is essentially celebration of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat, Ore Bharatam Unnat Bharatam. This Bharat has been like a family, a kutumba. No country in the world can boast of having so much of diversity, and yet the whole Bharat, people of Bharat, they feel so connected with each other. We know that until 1956 there was no concept of linguistic estates. We had 15 estates at the time, and people all over speaking multiple languages, different languages they inhabited, or I should say they lived together in every part of Bharat. Somehow it was thought that perhaps the governance would be better if linguistic estates were created. And that is how linguistic reorganization of Bharat happened and states were created. Then erstwhile Madras state, out of which several states were created: Andhra, Karnataka, Kerala, and subsequently 11 years back Andhra was again bifurcated and Telangana was created. Now this bifurcation was not on linguistic basis. This was the whole argument was for better development. There are so many states which have been created thereafter, not on the basis of language, but for better governance. We know Uttarakhand has been created out of UP, Chhattisgarh out of Madhya Pradesh. So many states have been created, not on linguistic basis, but for better governance. But the project of creating linguistic estates on an assumption that there will be better administration, better governance, it also created an unforeseen situation where the people who have been living together at a place for centuries, for hundreds and hundreds of years, some of them became minorities. Some of them suddenly they felt, they were made to feel that, well, this place is not primarily yours. Because they were living together, there was no concept of linguistic estates, people were all happily living together. But the moment we created linguistic estates, the states which was created for a particular language, predominant language, other language speakers suddenly became minorities. And somehow a politics began, and this started creating a distance between the predominant language speaker of the place and other language speakers. And this is what happened here in our state also. Because when I meet our Telugu friends, initially they used to, now they don't say that because they know my reaction. Initially when I used to meet them, they would tell me, sir, we are migrant to this place. We are migrant to Uttarakhand. And I used to ask them, when did you migrate? Oh sir, our great-great-grandfathers, grandparents did it some hundreds of years ago. I said, then how did you become migrant? You have been here for hundreds of years. Suddenly you become migrant. As if this place doesn't belong to you. Now such feeling, it cuts at the very root, the very foundation of Ek Bharat Shreshtha Bharat. We cannot afford to have a discrimination on the basis of language when the people have been living together at the place for such a long time. But then we followed, unfortunately, after we became independent, we followed the European model of politics and European model of governance. European model of politics, every individual was atomized. One individual, one vote, one individual, one vote. So, since vote gives you power, power seekers began collecting all the numbers. How many you get? Now, collection of numbers became the source of power, the mode of power. And this collecting the numbers, they started dividing the society in various forms. One is language. Okay, you will speak this language, so you form one block. You will speak this language, you form another block. Then regional. You are from this region, you form one block. You are from this region, you form one block. Then the caste. You are this caste. Okay, now I am the leader of your caste. You all come together. And when the caste began, then became subcaste. Friends, at the time of independence, the number of castes that our country had, today we have almost double the number of castes. You seem to be new castes are being created. Now this European model of governance and politics, which is divisive, which is power-oriented. We have to win election. All I have to do is, once in 5 years, I have to, the rest of the time I do what I do. And everyone knows. And this is how our country kept declining. But when it comes election, you start dividing the people along the lines. And discriminating also the others. Now this has weakened our country. Our country at the time of independence was the 6th largest economy in the world. This was 6th largest despite the fact of heavy exploitation by the British. Because when the British came, we were the largest economy in the world. And we were the largest economy for more than 1800 years, if not more. But with all the exploitation, we came down to the 6th largest. But this, subsequently 70 years, by 2014, we became the 11th economy. We became poorer and poorer and poorer. While some people became richer, richer and richer, generally, we kept declining. And while some regions became prosperous, some regions were left behind. Even the regions which were prosperous, there are a large number of pockets of deprivation, poverty. Even in our own state, we know that there are districts, there are areas where we have acute poverty. Still we have malnutrition, we have starvation. We have it. I have seen a high school student plus 12th standard student stunted, looking like a class 3rd and 4th year student. I mean, we had this problem. Why this? This Darwinian form of governance. I am clever, I can manage, I will get. Those who are less smart or not as smart, they will suffer. And that is what kept creating regional and sub-regional inequalities. At the time of, we used to say that there is difference between South is more prosperous than the North. Yes, fact. West of Bharat is more prosperous than the East. But even when you look at the prosperous areas, you have acute pockets of acute poverty. So it is not that the whole region, whole South is prosperous. It is not that the whole West is prosperous. You have it. Why this? We have a still in our state, we have. Take the case of the tribals. Lakhs and lakhs of them have no record, they have nothing, they're still in the primitive states. Now this Darwinian model of governance and politics, that politics and power, the mixing of the two, and that is dividing the society, it has a weakness. Such a large country, a country with so much of potentials. In fact, our engineers are propelling all the development in the Western countries, be it the United States of America or developed countries of Europe, is ours. More than 250,000 our IITians are driving USA's technology sector. But we didn't create opportunity for them here. Now this changed in 2014 after Prime Minister Modi came. Because he tried to restore the sense of Bharat. Bharat is a parivar, is a kutumba. And when you look at the people of the country as a kutumba, as a family, can you distinguish in a family if you have a limited amount of food, can you say, okay, so many people will eat, so many will go hungry? No. Whatever is the food, it will be shared by you all. You can't say that somebody has fallen, if the 2 or 3 members have fallen sick, one will be treated, 2 will not be treated. You can't discriminate that. But that sense of family, the sense of kutumbam, parivar, both, it has to be there. And with that sense, if you look at it, Bharat, its true glory, its true identity is established, is appreciated. And that is the form. Moving from the Darwinian model, moving from power politics to citizen-centric politics, to Bharat as a parivar, as a kutum. That is why at the time when Prime Minister came, in the whole country survey was made, and 120 districts were considered which were found out, which were very, very behind. And we had districts here in our state also. Supposed to be a developed country, a relatively developed state, but we had pockets. So those 120 districts were identified. They were not called backward districts because after all, name also they were called aspirational districts. And special efforts were made to bring them up. And you all know it, and I'm happy to inform that in the last 10 years, they have all come up at par. Some of them are doing better than the other districts. So lifting up the whole with a sense of one faith. And this has now brought the magical transformation. From 11th, we are now we have become the 4th largest economy. And we all know that in the next a year or two, we are going to be the 3rd largest economy. From nowhere, we know that how those of us who traveled abroad, what was the weight of Indian passport? You went out, immigration officer at the airport in a foreign country. The way they treated you, and they treat you now, the weight of Indian passport today. 10 years back, the world did not take Bharat seriously. Today, the world cannot do without Bharat, and cannot do any serious work without it. Now this transformation is happening. That is restoring the sense of oneness. Ek Bharat. And that Ek Bharat has to be Shrestha Bharat. It cannot be just like that any other country. We have to be the leader of the world. That is why the vision is in the next 2.5 decades, less than 2.5 decades, we have to be a fully developed, self-reliant country, the leader of the world. Viksit Bharat, self-reliant country by 2047. And we are moving towards that direction. In every field, Dr. C.M.K. Reddy mentioned about Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor is a demonstration that Bharat, what Bharat is today. Our country, we have suffered humiliations. We have suffered humiliations when Parliament was attacked. We have suffered humiliation when a handful of 10 terrorists, Pakistani, they came and when they attacked Mumbai, the whole country was in anger and frustration. How just a band of 10 terrorists humiliated us. And within 9 months of that attack, our Prime Minister goes and meets the Prime Minister of Pakistan and signs an MOU that both countries are victims of terrorism. It's the most shameful thing that happened. We didn't have that guts, we didn't have the courage, we didn't have the capacity to defend our own citizens. We didn't build our military. Our soldiers were never wanting. Our military was never wanting, but it is our job. It is the job of the government to provide them the necessary firepower, necessary technology. And what happened in the last 10 years, we saw a snapshot, a trailer of it in Operation Sindoor. Short, swift, and decisive victory in just 4 days. Now, this is New Bharat. And this New Bharat has to celebrate its diversity. Our diversity, which is perhaps unique in the world, is our strength, is not our weakness. Earlier politics, European model of politics and governance, had turned our diversity in our vulnerability. No, it is not our vulnerability, it is our strength. And that strength we need to celebrate. You know, we are in the hall of Mahakavi Bharati, in his hall. We all know what Mahakavi Bharati said when we are talking about on the languages, diversity of this country. We have multiple languages. Bharat Mata speaks multiple languages, but her heartbeat is one. This oneness. So when we are celebrating this Telangana Day today, it is not just merely celebration of a state, but it is celebration of diversity. Telugu people, Telugu culture has enriched the whole Bharat. Its saints, poets, great sons it has produced. Not one, two, large number. From time to time, those who have sown the light, what is called Bharat, they have enriched us. They have produced, Telugu-speaking people have produced the countless number of the bravest among the freedom fighters. They have contributed to the growth and development of Bharat. And here in Tamil Nadu, I have no hesitation in saying that, and everyone knows it, that they are the drivers of our growth. Most of the things that are happening in this, it is because of the enterprise of the Telugu people. Largely to that. We know that. And that it is to be celebrated. And this event is to celebrate this diversity. Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat. My friends, I wish you once again the very best on this day, and I wish you all a very, very happy Telangana Foundation Day. Essentially, it is a day of celebration of Telugu culture, Telugu civilization, which is a part of the rich Bharatiya civilization and culture. Thank you very much.